Just go within, bro. All the answers are right there. You just need to spend more time with yourself and everything will come to you. And just sit with it for an hour and you'll get the answer. We're going to hold a funeral today for the hollow myth of motivational advice, the dangers of unresourced inner work, and the sacred necessity of care, context, and connection. Because to tell someone to go within for questions that have been plaguing them for their whole lives or problems across lifetimes, even if the answers are of course simple and right there, asking someone to go to a place they have never been or even knows that even exists is not a one fit for all and can be very stressful. Daniel, just go within. Why do you need to do any work? Just go within. What's so hard about it?
What does that even mean? Like, what, sit there until like you're enlightened or something? Or
yeah, I guess so. That's what the motivational quote says. Just go get the answers from within.
Yeah, okay. And then just sit there silently in darkness until like you cry, or like just figure out the answers to life, or the childhood trauma that you'd repressed for the last 30 years. Like it's just so bland. It doesn't really tell you much of anything.
I think also how people misuse that is treating that as a desktop exercise or a mindset activity. Just think about it that little bit harder. And you are someone who has thought about many things in many different perspectives, but that's still not really going within. It is to a certain extent, but again, that just go within doesn't give that enough credit.
No, well, there's no map.
Yeah.
It's just pointed in that direction. Yeah, that direction, that'll do. That'll get you what you need.
Over there.
Yeah.
Not there.
Yeah.
Definitely not
Think
there.
of like the Lion King. You know, there's all the land that you can see is ours. What about the dark, shadowy area over there? That's within. You shall never go there, Simba.
You are a meme master. What meme did you assign to this episode?
Oh, this one was easy. If you've seen it, there's someone drowning in water. You can't tell if it's a pool or it looks like it's an ocean. It's a drawn meme. It's not real. And the hand is flailing. The whole body is underwater, drowning. Another hand comes along and rather than helping the person up, just high fives and then leaves. And then the first person drowns. And
that's what Just Go Within has become. Because it really has become a band-aid or a blanket statement for inner work and inner exploration.
Well, it already creates that separation as well. Like, where's the compassion? Where's the connection? Where's the like, well, why can't you go within? Or why haven't you gone within? Maybe this person's tried.
Well, that begets the question that what if that advice, it sounds so spiritual and beautiful, and yes.
Does it?
Well, it depends.
It just sounds like a bunch of words to me.
Well, that too. Depends on the situation and context. That's what you're saying. Context and care is essential to this and the connection. Because I can't, for example, if I don't know anyone and there is no reason to connect, there's no context to connect, there is no care between us, there's not going to be any exploration or any meaning to just an energy exchange. So if you apply that to yourself, how am I going to get any more substance?
I mean, reminds me of those the days at work and they have the cards going out. Are you okay? It's sort of in that similar vein. It's not really genuinely wanting to bring about that connection. It's not really fostering that unity. It really is, and I can see it right now. It's forming these invisible barriers, saying go within. That's a you problem. That's a you challenge. Go within and figure it out yourself, because I'm not responsible for you. And you know, how do you know that that's even good advice? The person could be just desperate for connection. That's the problem that they have.
Yeah.
And then to be faced with that is just further reinforcement that, you know, they're not getting the thing that they so desperately want internally, which is something external.
Call it are you okay or just go within. This could be the most damaging advice that one could give to someone, because it's another one of those blanket diagnoses. It's like, Daniel, what's my purpose? Just go within. Oh, wow, I never thought about looking there.
Have you ever watched The Simpsons? There's a Hank Scorpio was a character who only had one episode. And he had the meme. He slapped his head and he's like, what a brilliant idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? And that's also what I think of with this meme as well. Is it's like, It's done tongue in cheek, of course, but it's really the idea of the fact that this advice, it can be very shallow at best, and it can be damaging at worst. I mean, a lot of the people who give this sort of advice, you mentioned motivational speakers, and these are usually in conference rooms with people that are also, in tune and in resonance, and they already have that level of success, and what they need is just a pick-me-up. Someone just to tell them to go achieve it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But
in the
really,
lane and groove that they have already crafted for themselves. They're not questioning the game, the
it's
players.
An echo chamber, really. But you give that to someone who's been, depressed for half their life, or someone who has PTSD, and it's like, just go within. Tell that to a schizophrenic, and then, then you can be responsible for their, the fallout of their condition. It's not great advice, just on the whole.
It just shows how much advice and what we see on Instagram or TikTok therapy is really flat packed and mass exported. And that's what we'll go into right now, is that lie of the golden inner world, that there's this fantasy of going within and sitting there in a lotus position and simply coming out enlightened, and we have all of the answers. And yes, if you've been practicing it's not just practicing. People can be practicing in the shallow pool and still not get to where they want, or they could be, training or practicing in ways that are conducive over years of practice and being the magician that we were talking about beforehand. But there is sort of that myth that I'm just going to go within for 6 months and I will emerge and I'll have all of the deepest answers and I'll know my purpose. But how do people know that they're working from their soul or working from ego? Because I've gone within, but I've only gone within to my ego.
I mean, well, this is the challenge as well, because this is something that I thought I was doing for a long time as well, like armchair philosophy and going deep, bro. That same sort of advice. But I mean, in my case, I think back to my first past life regression in 2023, the one before, the fateful one that brought us together. And that was one that, and that was one that, I thought I'd done a lot of inner work. I thought I'd learned so much. And that's just it. Thought. Thought is not being. It's a part of being. And so when other areas start to come online, it was incredibly intense, incredibly uncomfortable. I was shaking throughout most of it physically because of how uncomfortable the experience was to share my own consciousness with my higher self. And that's just another element of me. We're not even trying to invoke archetypes or work with anything else. So I would say if you're really doing this work, it should not feel comfortable. And that's also just goes back to the advice to just go within being bad advice, because people need to be equipped for this. And you won't even know what to expect at all. And so for many people, the golden inner world that we expect, that, you just go within and then it's just going to be rainbows and sunshine and all of the answers handed to you on a silver platter. That was anything but my experience. And I don't know anyone who has had an experience that it's just that easy.
Even some people, I do remember in the space that I came from, the revelations, so to some people came easy. Like, they cracked the code in a week. It's like, either you've been asking this question for decades and now you just maybe got permission, or you've just completely fabricated this to make yourself feel good. Either way, I don't really feel the resonance. But how do you tell that to people who so desperately, they've gone within maybe for the first time in their life and that's all they've come back with? It's very disheartening when that little bit that they've come back with gets challenged. But also with what you were saying about it's not sunshine and rainbows and someone waiting there like a butler with, your order on a silver platter, just handing
you could guide people in a situation like that and make it very safe.
Yes,
but a lot of people just going within don't even know how to go deeper.
No, that's right. And that's what, even when you are quote unquote going within, what do you meet? I mean, I went within and I ended up in the wrong neighborhood of my own side of town. It's not.
This is your first journy, right?
Yeah. It was
the first journey to the underworld.
Yeah. I got beat up by my own self, rightfully so.
By three elements.
Oh yeah, no, one primarily, but no one was happy with me. And every time I've gone down there, like, no one is fundamentally happy with me. It's not a temple in there. It has been crumbling. It has, I tend to think of like a corporate skyscraper. The building is on fire. There is levels of exiles and children that are crying, and the wiring is broken, and the executives are not there. So the workers...
They've gone on an extended holiday again. Like what ScoMo did with the bushfires. Yeah.
It's like out of office. And there's just chaos. There's no furnishing. Nothing's been upgraded since I think you did a meditation in your crown. You got like a 1970s corporate office, and I kept on sending you memes about it. I'll have to find them. I don't know if it was a meditation or you had like a chakra healing or something. No, it was your first Reiki session.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and your crown was like a very
empty office.
Office. It's like no one is there. So sure, go within, and I'm sure you can ask great questions, but no one is there, and people expect to go within and meet with peace, but instead they're met with chaos.
Well, it's just like life here. It's it's just get out into the world, and then if you're on the wrong side of town, that can be horrible advice. If you're out in nature and you're wearing your pajamas, that's also really bad advice. You have to know what the landscape even is. And a lot of people really don't know themselves well enough to safely go venturing.
In speaking of safety of going within, it can be quite revealing. Like we've both come off autopilot. And you don't just come off autopilot and then you glide down. Things start to crash.
If only.
If only. Things start to crash, and things start taking very sharp turns that are very abrasive. So what does it mean to go in safely? Like a, trauma-informed truth. What does that mean or look like for a person who's like, okay, well, I'm not going to go within, so what do I do?
Well, it's a common thing you see with like psychologists and counselors these days, offering a safe space. And I know politically this has been hijacked. People wanting to make fun of the left talking about the safe spaces and such, but really there's something being missed here. These people are fragile that need the safe space. They need to be able to explore elements of themselves that are very wounded. And so my answer to that would be, what we do is we open sacred space. We, intentionally, wind down our ego, our thinking mind and everything conscious. Bring all of that down a notch, slow the circulation, get our intention refined, like sharpening a pencil. Get it nice and sharp. Then clear the air. Sometimes we'll sage, sometimes I use the rattle. We've got a few shamanic tools and just using your intention as if there are energies around you. Some that shouldn't be there, some that should be there, and more that should come from outside of there as well. But setting up your own internal space as a replication of doing it externally as well has been a great way that we've learned how to basically clear our inner world and create separation and even a barrier against anything we don't want coming in as well. Because that's the key to being able to control what comes in, so that if it is intense, if it is uncomfortable, it can be done so in a way that is as gentle as possible and as therapeutic as possible too. Because you don't want the general manager of the solar plexus coming up and start yelling at you. You want them to come up and meet you civilly and actually tell you if something's wrong.
Of course.
We've gone to the effort to come meet you. The least you can do is now respect the fact that we've journeyed here.
I would understand why I would also yell at me, but we're working on rebuilding the relationship, and we spoke about fragmentation and parts not being home. So even just you're going within, but how do you know who's home, and how do you know someone wants to speak to you, and why should they serve you? So if you haven't listened to that episode, we of course highly recommend doing so. But when you mentioned about sacred space, we've practiced with ways to go within. For me, journaling has been a big part, but that can't happen when the TV's on in the background and you get interrupted every time, and and you just know in the back of your mind that someone wants something from you and it's going to interrupt your flow. And that's why for us opening sacred space, we're intentionally turning off the layers of the world. It's putting, turning, it's not just the phone off, but in the internal phone, the internal alarm system. And it's pointing in the direction that not everyone gets a key to the same door.
No, and that's the risk with going within as well, is that you don't know what's behind the door.
And can you speak to then, I have a lot to say on this, but that generic flat-packed advice, like, of course, go within, that can be very harmful in the echo chamber, where what I need to go within versus what you need to go within, these are very different doors with very different barriers in front of them, so on and so forth.
Yeah, the general advice is just simply bad because, again, who are you going to meet? Where are you going to meet? What's going to come up? Some people, again, those that are traumatized, they might have things that are so intense that trying to bring this up without the necessary scaffolding in place is it could just be a complete detriment to their mental health at the surface level, and they might become non-functional.
This also reminds me of a time when someone, a person of authority, told me that I'm not so coachable anymore. And I found...
That sounds like a good thing.
Well, yes, I was quite perplexed because is it coachable? Is it malleable? Is it that I contorted and conformed to someone else's worldview so well and now I wasn't listening anymore?
I would also speak more to the fact that the person who said it probably wasn't the right person to be coaching to begin with.
But it reminded me of, and you know me, I'm open-minded. I have, I'm quite inquisitive. I can take on things, but when it stops resonating, you stop becoming coachable. And this is also, people who think, well, what I'm trying to say with this is that it's not that I wasn't the problem, it was the system, and what I was being guided with was fundamentally not working. And it used to work, but then it stopped working. So when people ask you to reflect on, why aren't you coachable? Why aren't you this or that? It's also not necessarily helping. And that came to me because I was looking at some of the generic motivational quotes that we're going to speak about. Like, you are the CEO of your own life. It's like, but at that point in time, everything was collapsing and shattering and stuff like that. It's like, you're absolutely ridiculous because if I was the CEO, I should be fired at this point.
Think of like someone who's like deeply enmeshed. They don't even know what it is to have that sovereignty to be the CEO. Like that's, you don't start there. You go out into the workforce, no one's going to just straight up give you a CEO job. There's meta skill sets that you have to know about how all the different other parts of the company work. To be the CEO of your life, you have to have all of the parts in at least a relatively functional state and sense of being so that you can effectively control them.
Even the noise of the world. Like, someone who's a single mother and works, 2 roles and has to drive to the other side of the city, for example. And sure, she might be doing an online course and it sounds really good, but she's in the same environment, which has created a highly strung nervous system and everything, and relaxation is a foreign concept. So going within, how well does that land?
Well, that's another part as well. Like when we mentioned, opening sacred space, a huge part of that I sort of overlooked is the ability
also applies to single fathers for anyone who's
but it goes back to the ability with the nervous system. It's to be able to relax. That is how you can tune to your inner world as well. And, this is something that I struggle with. If I don't actually intentionally put the time and effort into it, I can't do this work at all. I get nothing. And I remember when I was doing some rituals back in early 2024, if I was just not in the right state, I was getting nothing out of it. Or next to nothing other than a bit of relaxation. And, that's also a testament to the fact that this has to be done properly as well. Because otherwise, the best case situation with going in without getting the goal that you're looking for is just nothing happens at all. And then it's, I could have done something better with my time. Or seen a psychologist.
Or get someone to just do it for me and I don't have to go within and have first-hand experience. So what does going within properly look like? And one of the first thing is don't necessarily go alone and don't go unarmed. And when we're saying alone, it's not necessarily like depending what you're doing. If you're journeying or, using any other assistance, then don't necessarily go alone until you know the lay of the land and what the territory looks like. But that could also mean calling in divine protection. It's using, spirit guides, not using, but entities or spirits and guides that are there to help and can...
Your own higher self, spirit teams, calling upon the Christ. You can call upon...
Whoever you feel...
Archangel Michael, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. This isn't just about having a physical person there when going alone. You can use power animals if you connect to... the shamanic. To that as well.
Yeah.
Because we don't know where we're going, what that looks like. All of these terrains are places we haven't been before.
There's a real element of surrender and trust as well with going within. This is something that with clients and people in this spiritual space and everything, I like to ask, so what type of inner work do you do? And I'll normally ask, do you meditate? Yes. Oh, what kind of meditation? And then I get the fluoride stare. I get just that blank look of well, what do you mean? It's you can meditate while you sit. You can meditate while doing your favorite hobby. If I can listen to good music while I'm cooking, that can get me into a trance state as well. And I can start bringing energy into the meal we're going to eat as well.
Dinner was wonderful. Thank you.
No, you're always welcome.
It's also about being guided by someone who's been there, not just read about it.
That's it. Guides, elders. The path has already been formed, but it's a pathless path. It's one that only at a high level can be sort of mapped. But if you've watched The Matrix, Morpheus says to Neo in the first movie, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And so even though Morpheus knows what the path of the one looks like, Neo still has to be the one to walk it on his own. And I think that's something that a lot of people can tend to discount as well. They'll just start meditating, or they'll just start journaling, or they'll just start something without really knowing where they're going or knowing what their end goal even is. And usually, from what I've seen and in my experience, a lot of what motivates people starting is pain.
Yes.
A lot of pain.
Even we think we're starting from pleasure. I thought that I was, when I started, I guess, the journey or just self-development in 2017. It was I'm doing this to be a better version of myself. But that is also a societal con, because it's assuming that there is one best version. It's not respecting all of the different frequencies. There's rage, there's joy. It's if I'm in rage, does that mean I'm not my best self because that wants to express?
It depends if you're in the boxing ring or not.
It also depends. Yes, highly depends. But what you just said about not having a clear direction and not having a plan per se, maybe not a plan, but direction, and all of the ways that we have been taught to go within is quite masculine, or a distorted way of the masculine, because you're trying to orient yourself without even knowing what's happening within. And then there is an omission, especially in the motivational Instagram, flat pack, TikTok, therapy, all of that advice. It's quite masculine. It's be the CEO of your own life, or, you don't need to carry your past identity. You can just get rid of that and plan your future, or some generic shit like that. But it brings about this energy of wanting to conquer something or just have it bend to your own will, whereas the feminine is more of a descent. Can you distill that further?
What comes to me immediately is the tarot, the major arcana, the soul's journey through the full onto the world. And so what I already see is, what you're mentioning here, is a lot of the emperor sort of energy, bringing structure to your ability to manifest. And it's the magician with the emperor, but you've skipped over the high priestess and the empress. You haven't balanced the masculine and the feminine. And going within is a very feminine element through the high priestess, because a lot of it is going quiet and listening to what comes through, and then working with the empress to bring about that abundance and the flow and what you need. So then the emperor can come in and structure it properly in place.
You've also had experiences with male clients and female clients, and after a few male clients, you're also commenting on how it is not permissed for men to go within. Like, women are kind of told to sit with their emotions, and we're sort of allowed to. There is a bias where we are allowed to, but you've had men where it has taken more time to relax them, and even just as things come up to trust that, because it seems so foreign to have something so deep within come to the surface.
Like, we already know women are more emotionally sensitive. You know, they're more hormonally, they flow with the tides, with the moon cycle and such as well. But many men, you know, even myself, like just through culture, there's a lot of emotional neglect. You know, it's why it's even why the title of this episode, Just Go Within, bro. It's men talking to other men, really, because men don't speak to women like that. It's masculine energy towards other masculine energies. Which
women also embody.
Yeah, it's like bro science, like especially like in the gym. You know, you got to take more glutamine, bro. Or take a pre-workout, bro.
We're not here to reject the inner work. Of course, what we do is going within. But as we say, for Truth of You, it's the right tool for the right job. Tarot is a way to go within. Journaling is a way to go within. Cooking and tuning out the world is a way to go within.
Being is going within.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which way you get there. As I said before, it's a pathless path.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that for a lot of men, the masculine energy is more externally focused as well. And that's why you'll see things like your history with the corporate world and achievement and success. These are all trying to achieve things of the material world, which the material world actually, ironically, is a feminine element, but it's about you going outwards into the world as well. It's very hero's journey-esque, which has a masculine undertone to it as well. But men, I have tend to notice that a lot of them have a lot more trouble just relaxing and trusting what comes through. And I'm no exception to that. I'm my own first client in that sense as well. But this is where I also think that, you know, there needs to be like more awareness and even education around this as well, because, you know, now we're at a point where we can even just, you know, call upon archetypes and we can go into a state to bring through the knowledge. This doesn't have to be very difficult work once you know how to get to where you need. This doesn't have to be enormously ritualed and practiced for hours just to be able to go that deep. But once we can learn that, this sort of stuff can become quick and easy until basically you just live in this state.
And that state is more than just work. It's in a reunion with these parts, with these archetypes. It's building an internal relationship. It's sometimes a rescue mission. It's like, come back. It's in a reparenting. It's in so many things. It's more than just work. And again, this flat packed, you can do it in a weekend, fast, get in, get out kind of energy. It does invite this ongoing presence to go within. And that's where these, you know, masculine systems or masculine approaches are very quick to just look at the surface level and assume that people sitting there thinking have all their executive functioning and can just make a very big, you know, life decision for everyone from the top to the bottom, and so be it. They are transformed. More love to you and your family.
It's also like, I think from an astrological perspective, you know, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Mars rules Aries traditionally. And what's that? It's the warrior archetype. It's going alone. It's doing all of this as, you know, as the warrior. You stand here and you know, it's triumphant and independent. And then when we look to Venus, ruled by Libra, this is about sharing and harmony. The energy fundamentally is different as well. So even understanding that, you know, going within is a feminine energy through the High Priestess. You know, we should also consider the fact that this work needs to be done through the lens of collaboration and understanding, well, you're going within to meet another part of you, you know, for better or worse. And understanding that, you know, what sort of energy are you bringing to that? Because if you're going in alone to do it, to roughhouse it and conquer it, well, that's not what some of these parts that might need to be heard. That's not what they want.
It also, well, the point came to mind was that some people go within, and I don't want to say everyone has an abandonment wound, but we all have it playing out in varying degrees to this life, and sometimes going within and nothing comes up, or that which you thought would be there isn't, whatever that is. People can feel more abandoned, and when they go within, they're only met with more pain, which reinforces the belief or the perception that they're broken. So again, going within is not a one size fits all, nor can...
No, absolutely not.
Not is that just a blanket invitation to transform your life. From one perspective, yes, but from another, especially, you know, with so much noise of the modern world, there's more considerations. So we're going to wrap up, but before we do that, give me your best bro, pseudo, motivational, inspirational, I'm going to change my life advice. Flat packet for me. Blow my mind.
You're the whole universe, bro. You can do anything you like.
Why didn't I think of that?
Are you just a drop in the ocean, or are you the whole ocean an entire drop, bro?
The mysticism is...
It's like, just connect to that and you'll have it all.
Mine would be, I have many.
Yeah?
Reach for the stars, Daniel.
But aren't they hot? Won't they burn you?
It's an invitation to challenge even the best intended advice. There can be really good intention with just, hey, you just need to take some time and go within. But pay attention to why that may or may not work for you. And there could be many reasons why that would be the case. So make sure that when you are going within, it is with the intention that this is going to serve you. And if you feel that you don't necessarily know how to go within, that is not a failure on your behalf. I mean, can you talk just to this before we look to wrap up? The system's failure of equipping people with this.
Yeah, and this is something, just as I was working on writing our book today, understanding that it's easy to put it back on the individual. But again, this is that masculine energy, the Mars energy. It's all your fault if you can't go within. It's all your fault if you don't have it all figured out. We're in, this goes back to the last regression, games within games. You know, we're playing in systems with, you know, as a family member, as a member of society and of a country and of a human race, where we're playing out all of these different roles at the same time. And so even though, you know, it's important to always remember the role that we play in any system that we find ourselves a part of. At the same time, the system has its own agenda. It has its own goals as well. And they can either align and work with us, or they can serve against that. And so knowing that as well is where we can even just understand where we, you know, should come down harder on ourselves or go easier.
If this resonates, then do share it with your network or someone who hasn't been able to go within or has maybe been able to do so very well. We would love to hear your perspectives. I'm the Eleanor Moshe on Instagram.
And I'm the Daniel Darman on Instagram.
If you would like us to speak to any topic or create a funeral or run a funeral for any lie or truth that is relevant in your world, just send us a message, because you are too big to be the small. Thanks for listening.